We're going. Get the guitar out, Mika. I tell you what, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I was bored as batshit about an hour ago. I quickly wasn't because our chat went off its head. We're going to bring the energy into this show tonight. It has been everyone's been fired up. Para fans are just over it, I think. So we're just going to start turning on each other. It's going to be fantastic to see. Huge show lined up. Lots to talk about. Plenty of things that happened the last week. Let's not forget, a week ago it was Origin, and Billy was informing us all that he was a Queenslander, in case you didn't know. So that was always good to hear. But the boys are in the building. We had the League of Inches Cup that we we're all getting over from the weekend. It was quite a tamed League of Inches Cup, apart from Adam literally beating his own drum continuously, which was awesome to be at and experience. That's why he's not here tonight. He's apparently torn some ligaments in his arm, just beating that drum too hard. So Jesse's come straight off the bench. No introduction needed anymore. You know, Jesse, you basically love him more than you love me, which isn't hard. You'll hate me, but that's all good. Welcome back, Jesse. You got the big shoes to fill of Adam. How you feeling? How you doing? How's your day been?
Oh, mate, I'm always good. Day's been all right. Obviously, another big day at work. I feel like they're relentless now. This new job's bloody battling me down, but it's all right. It's I'm always eager to do a pod, fill in for one of these boys here, the odd utility role on the Wednesday live show. So, always a fan, mate.
Thanks, thank you, Mr. Utility. You're probably the Connor Watson of utilities for this show. You're just remarkable, Mika. You're fired up. I know straight away. You're ready to go tonight. I'm that keen for it. It's not funny. How's things in the Mika household? You are going away, I believe, tomorrow. So why not leave with a bang?
No, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in holiday mode. I'm ready to get on an airplane and drink some cocktails and do nothing but sit on a beach for a week.
What a life, guys. What a life. I wish that was me right now. Jez, great to meet you on the weekend. Finally met up at your home ground, Newcastle. Got the job done against Parramatta. You left very, very happy while the rest of us were just sulking when we were done. But how's your weekend? The League of Inches Cup, which we will get into a little bit more in detail. And how's your day been?
Yeah, it was good. It was actually nice to, as I said, meet you in person. We've been doing this for quite some time online now, so it was good to see how we measure up against each other. And we're just talking about how we were measuring up. And, I'm quite taller in real life. And Jesse and Mika were having a short off. And I think it was only 1 centimetre that they're that they're just as short as each other. So that'll be fun.
What's 1 centimetre between friends, eh?
Yeah. Exactly right. But no, sellout crowd at Newcastle. It was good to see everyone there. It was good. I'm so glad the Knights got the win because I unfortunately had to sit with all the Parramatta fans and Adam smacking that drum. My head was done by the end of it. So glad we got the win.
Did you find that Joel's a lot more lippy in real life than he is online?
Oh, I reckon Joel in real life matches his energy in the group chat.
What's that? Is that a good thing or bad thing? Peel back the curtain, let the viewers in. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Undecided.
And and not short of a word when it comes to
I'll give myself a bit of credit. I was dealing with a baby who just was in the mood that night. It wasn't great. And then Parramatta were doing what Parramatta does. So Jez is the Well, look, we had a crying baby. And then, as Jez was stating, Adam with his drum just enhanced everything. It just felt like I was just in this little room with a baby crying and carrying on. I had a drum beating. I just had
They're
my
yelling.
team playing shit. I had people yelling, and it was a great night. But it was good to get around everyone. But tell you what,
Threats to meet in the car park from the Martin's father. That was always fun to deal with.
it was great.
One little shove down those stairs and he's done, but he doesn't know that.
You wouldn't even have to shove him. You just got to look at him and go like this.
Boo. Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of kind things. I appreciate it, guys. There's a few fans out there that actually do like me, which is nice to hear. Let's talk about what caught our eye this week. It wasn't just the League of Legends Cup, the Newcastle trip that caught our eye. Obviously, some other things. And I'll just go around the room this time. Jez, I'll start with you. What caught your eye this week, whether on or off the field?
Yeah, off the field, I guess this is Grant Anderson re-signing for the Melbourne Storm. So a local boy from up here. Always good to see guys from Newcastle playing well and earning contracts. So well done, Grant. Huge news. And deserved.
Great.
He's playing well and consistent. So well done.
Yep, great talent, which I'm very keen to watch
Field is
him.
just freaking freezing and wet.
It's a pretty long signing. It wasn't until like 2028 or something as well. So they've got some big raps on him. So
yeah, I think they've got some big plans for him too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like I think they can see a couple of the people that are playing around him are getting a bit older, and he keeps performing. And when you're in that Melbourne system, you just stay there as long as you can.
100%. Craig Belling probably will still be there at 2028, so it'll be all good there. Riles will still be waiting for a job. So, Jesse, what caught your eye this week?
I'd say like NRL related this week. It was more so just touched on it yesterday when we did the team list. How many of the guns are back? I'm stoked to see it. It's almost like the league's kind of got this second wind of all these like returning injured weapons, and I'm stoked to watch it again. Like it's just been, I feel like in the last month or so, I've sort of, I wouldn't say neglected the NRL, but I just haven't, honestly, I haven't been very captivated by it. There's just too many other things, but you know, I am very eager to see how this like last half of the season goes. But off the field, I'm sure we can all relate. How much money do you waste at Kmart? Mate, my wife's she's at Kmart right now, and she's doing a house call, trying to like make room for everything, and in doing so, she's
24
also
hours too.
Yeah, it's bad. And she's like, oh well, you know what? I need money because I've cleared out all this space. I need organizers. I'm like, why? Why do we need more? So yeah, I just keep getting messages about, hey, can you just swing a little bit more in, please? I need to get some more stuff. So if you see me looking down, it's me transferring more money for more Kmart trips.
He's transferring.
I'm like, shit. Please.
Kmart
but
gets
to your
everything.
first point, I agree. I think it's been since the Magicless Magic round we haven't had these big names in. So that's when they all kind of dropped off. So it's been quite some time, and you're right.
Yeah, I agree. Mika, what caught your eye this week?
I guess league related. I gave a shout out to Jeremy earlier in the week. I see a lot of arguing about footy and a lot of differences of opinions. And I know like we like stirring people, I like stirring people, but I like talking serious footy too. And it was really good to sit there with Jeremy at the Eels Knights game, watch the game and rib each other a bit, but also have serious, non-biased conversations about things that were going on in the game. I think it's refreshing to be able to sit there and watch a game of footy with someone who knows when to banter and stir, but also can sit there and talk seriously. I like to think I can be like that most of the time. I know we all have our moments, but it just, I don't know. I walked away from that game with the shits because the Eels lost, but I had such a good night, not only with Jeremy, but everyone else that was there as well. So that was me league one. I guess non-league related.
Glad I made a good impression.
Yeah. That's because you were trying to fight me for 3 hours beforehand. The non-league related, I'd just say for me, I'm on holidays now. I have about 3 weeks off work. Hopefully, I'm going to Fiji for a week tomorrow. I guess it just is ramming home how important it is to spend time with your family and friends away from work, because your family will remember when you're not at home and at work. Your work won't really give a fuck, even though you got to pay the bills. try and get that time with your family. That's me.
Mhm.
That's what I noticed this week.
Beauty.
I agree. Look, guys with questions and stuff, I'll star them if they're not on topic for what we're talking about, and we'll get back to them, which will be fine. So keep them coming in. And as always, to get involved with the comments, we'll always show them, get things going. And for mine, what caught my eye this week was the fact that, and I mentioned it to open the show, that they've got two things actually. Oh, look at that. There's love everywhere. I love it.
Oh.
I love. But mine was Billy Slater. Just basically make sure I knew that he was a Queenslander, which I was shocked about. I didn't see coming. I didn't know he was a Queenslander. So the fact that he was a Queenslander and has announced it, I was quite shocked. I just didn't see it coming. It's huge news. But thanks, Billy, for clarifying. Thanks for letting me know that you are a Queenslander. I now believe that you are a Queenslander. So thank you very much. Secondly,
No idea.
cool little announcement to come live to the show now. So this is the benefits of being a live watching, part of the family. New shirts have arrived, guys. I've got mine. The crew are about to get theirs within the next week or so, but they will be up on sale as of tomorrow. So this is sort of the style we've now gone for. So it's a little bit nice, simple tees. There's a range of different colors you can get, so it's not just all black. But they will be available from tomorrow. Mika, what do you got?
Are you like hacking into the McDonald's Wi-Fi down the fucking road or something, or what? Got like a 999 ping or some shit.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's dial-up shit over here.
Yeah, you're like
Call TPG.
Oh, is it?
Oh no.
Maybe that's what happened with Billy the first time
What's
he told
happened?
everyone he's a
Am I back?
Queenslander.
Yeah, he's too busy loading
Dropped
me
out.
in.
Yeah.
His hotspot ran out.
You're
I
back.
don't know what's wrong with
Yeah, he's
premium
still going.
Telstra. So I'm giving Telstra a quarter, mate. This
Oh.
is a joke because what I pay
Getting
per
worse.
month is ridiculous compared to most. So
It's outrageous.
oh,
Oh man.
you know what? This is a joke. Anyway, move on from me. Let's talk about the League of Inches Cup and get someone talking. Mika, let's talk about the game. Let me know your thoughts. What were your thoughts around the game itself? I know you were quite boisterous during and throughout the game.
Just let us know
Now
where
you've had
your
a few days
jerseys are
to
at the
think about
moment
it.
too.
So we're talking Parramatta versus the Knights.
Yeah, my jerseys are as far back in my cupboard as they can go. Right near me Macca's shirt from where I was a teenager. There's also one Hawaiian shirt there for dress-ups, suits for weddings, and some other random shit. I was it stung. Like, I thought Moses was really let down by the players around him. I thought he was exceptional, but just typical Parramatta this year. Forwards plodding along, backs making crappy decisions. Not to take that away from Newcastle. I never thought Parramatta were going to win at any moment of that game. Newcastle ran harder. They wanted it more. They aimed up in the middle and made our forwards look weak as piss. They made Jackson Hastings, like the way our forwards went and the way Hastings played off the back of it, made him look better. And then he obviously carried on like the flop that he is. But yeah, it was disappointing. Although it was a good day, the Eels thing beforehand, and as I said, meeting with everyone was pretty good. But I just had so much shitty attitude on the way home. I was just pissed off. So that's where the jerseys went in the back of the room. Yeah. Does that about cover it?
Are you still pissed off?
I am. And you know what else pisses me off? People keep talking about the refs and stuff, that game. Like, I just feel like that's not the way, like Parramatta fans especially, that's not where we should be aiming at angst, right? I mean, yeah, the refs weren't good for both teams, I thought. I thought there was a couple of bad calls for both teams. Some of the worst calls were for Para, but I don't think in any way that cost Para the game. I think it's another example of how bad the refereeing is at the moment. Like now all the coaches are starting to band together and talk about it. But I just think as a Parramatta fan, you should be angry with the club and the players, not the referees, because the referees didn't cost us that game. And
your brother would disagree. So him and I have had a really lengthy conversation around how he is adamant that the referee, that was a square up for what happened a couple of rounds ago where he gave Gutho a gobful because Gutho gave the referee a gobful. And then there was the post-match stuff that happened as well where Gutherson was trying to explain his reasoning and he was rude and arrogant and didn't come across right. So there are people out there that genuinely think that was a square up.
And while I don't disagree that Goff's opinions were probably swayed
he had
from
a shocker.
that game.
He had a shocker. We spoke about this, like the amount of how long it took.
That one where we were drawing, waiting for that was, but
3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes.
And I can pick and point calls and stuff, and I've got no doubt that he has it on his mind, like, oh, fucking Moses and Gutho coming at me again. And I saw another podcast say that Moses and Gutho have like one of the highest at overturning, like winning refs challenges. So I know it would shit the refs, and it's the way they approach the refs. So I've got no doubt that Goff probably thought, ugh, but I still don't think that cost them the game. Good teams still get over that shit. We could have won the last play of the game. If Gutho hit Mitch out the back, we had a 3-on-2 and we probably win. We could have won the game if we were good enough. The refs didn't cost us that game. Be angry at the club and the players, not at the referees. And then if you have a good club and you have a good 13 on the field that are doing their job and making their own luck, the referees don't come into it because the 50-50 start going your way because you're winning them yourself.
Yeah, it's always hard when your team is doing poorly as well. Like, it just seems like the whole world is against you. Like, before we went on that magic run last year, it was something similar. Like, every little call just felt like it went against us. And it's because, the whole narrative, we were meant to lose. But I don't know. I think watching that game live, I would do anything to have Mitchell Moses on my team. And I've made that quite clear that I'm one of his biggest fans, even though I'm not a Parramatta fan. I think Gutherson was good in the first half, but then for the last 20-odd minutes, he was injured. I think he asked to come off. He was signaling to come off, and he didn't get taken off.
Yeah.
And that's when the sting in the attack, when they tried to put on that spread, just wasn't hitting the marks. Moses was doing all the directing, and it really simplified Dylan Brown's game. But I think there was a bit of a turning point where, like, exclude the runaway tries, because they were things that Parramatta were trying to do desperately to win that game. They didn't work. Bradman Best picks it up, runs the length of the field twice. Like, that's just going to happen. But I think the game was quite even until you look into the middle of the park. So Newcastle just went straight through the guts nearly every single set. And the defense in the middle of the park for Parramatta was really poor. But then when the Knights were in attacking field position, I wasn't worried that we were going to score. And I think you as Parramatta fans weren't worried that we were going to break the line. But when Parramatta were in attacking position, and it was evident in the first try, they put on that wonderful spread and then they set it up 3 times and hit 3 different options, that Parramatta had a bit more potency when it comes to being in those attacking positions. But defensively in the middle is where you guys lost that game.
Yeah, I'd agree to that. We definitely looked, you're right, we looked more potent in attack. But I mean, I think Newcastle are rated one of the bottom at the moment for attack, possibly.
We are, yeah. We're in the bottom for nearly all stats in attack, but quite up there in defense.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, plenty of their spreads, like we had covered well. You take away the 12 points from the runaways because you can't really defend them once Best picks up the ball, he's gone. And our spreads did look quite decent, especially where we had Moses swinging around the back now. That was new. But I still felt like we were never going to defend well enough, like you said, in the middle. They just went straight through the middle all night, and it's just been typical of our defense all year for a couple of years now.
I don't like the whole blame the refs things and talk about the refs so much, because the way I see it, we need to look in our own backyard. We have been so poor defensively for the last 18 months as a club. And the fact that either players, officials, or fans want to sit back and try and continue to blame the refs, I just think it's a cop-out. Like, if that's what as sort of Mika alluded to, if that's where the club has gotten to, I'm embarrassed to be a fan of the club, because I thought we were a lot higher than that in terms of holding ourselves accountable for our own mistakes. Like, why aren't we talking about the mistakes that, say, Blaze made, Gutho had made, other players have made? Like, let's talk about that sort of stuff. Let's not talk about the referees' mistakes. Like, they're human. I love how we want to ignore the fact that some of our biggest stars who people are so excited to see, and Blaze is going to be a great player moving forward, but he's still very young and fresh. we've got to be careful with how much we push this kid early on here, because he's got a lot to work on. And I've said it a number of times, he's him under the high ball. He's still so nervous about it. He's been scarred early on in the first game or two that he played, and now teams just know to go straight at him. We've got to be careful with that. I think it's a bit of a cop-out. I think both teams had some pretty average calls on say. I don't think it was a great officiated game at all, but I don't think it was one-sided towards the Eels at all. I think both sides had to deal with it. And if I'm being brutally honest, Newcastle dealt with it better. They moved on. We bag Hastings out all the time for not controlling games and that, but I thought he played his game perfectly. Will Price was great on debut. It was a great debut for him. He did his job perfectly. Bradman Best is just a beast who continues to just get better, I feel like, and really push him for an origin spot.
And same with Dane Gagai.
Yeah.
Like, Dane is really pushing to get that origin centre spot whilst he still can. And I thought he had a really good game too. There's some really nice battles within those centres positions.
I didn't get a chance to watch this game, and I feel like I missed a really good one because I've seen so much come out of it. And I might even have to actually watch it now, to be honest with you, just to see kind of where it is. But I did see a lot of things come from it. And like your points about blaming the refs about the loss, that was one of the things that I saw a lot from a game too. And it's always surprising when you see that too, because you got to think like both teams played 80 minutes. You know what I mean? If you have plenty of opportunity to win a game, either side can. And you see it's irrelevant for this game. You can talk about irrespective for anything else. But like, when you concede 34 points, like the chances you're going to win are pretty unlikely, regardless of how well you attack. And you can't put 34 points down to a referee decision. Maybe a try here or there, but I see it like it comes up so often, and like I feel like I need to go back and actually watch this game because I don't know how much of it swayed, and I really wanted to like have a bit of an input here instead of just.
It was
like,
a very good game
and listening. I heard it was great. It was a cracker of a game
to watch.
Yeah,
in front of a sellout crowd. It was really cool to be a part of that atmosphere. And of course, with the Knights winning, it was better. But in comparison, so Parramatta had 3 tries that went to the video ref, but they all went up as no try. Where I think the Knights ones that got sent upstairs all went up as tries. So there is that kind of in the back of your mind, a little bit of an argument around, well, there might have been that home field advantage when it comes to those calls. But yeah, I don't know. As we said, the officiating wasn't great for that game, but it was quite even because it was poor for both teams.
I think it just highlights.
We can't
pretty much every
expect to go to Newcastle and get home ground calls. It's not our home ground. Like if we go to Combank, we play at Combank and we get home ground calls. Like it's just the way footy is played, unfortunately.
I think it just highlights what the coaches have been talking about, the refs. We can say the refs were shit, but I think it's very rare you can ever say a ref cost a team the game. The only time I can genuinely say that is when was it Cowboys and Tigers a few years ago, where they gave them a penalty after the bell and they tried to chat. Yeah, that sort of shit. So the bell had already gone. The Tigers were in front. They got a penalty that shouldn't have been penalty off a shit call. They kicked it and they won. So that cost them the game. That's the only one I can genuinely think of. But I can happily sit here and say that the refs lately this year have been generally terrible across the board. It's like they're never accountable for it. Annesley's press conferences are a joke. Some of the things he says in there, it's like he's just trying to justify and keep the heat off instead of just being honest. Like, I know it never changes anything, but and I don't know where they go. I don't know how they fix it. We could probably talk about that all night. Yeah,
we very much could. We'll move on. Before we do, something that wasn't on the agenda, I just want to give you, Mika, the floor for a minute or two. I know obviously a lot has happened for the last couple of weeks since we have spoken about Parramatta in depth. I don't want to say too much on it, but I feel like with our page, we still have to talk about him at some point. And unfortunately, at the moment, we're still in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Where are you at the moment with the club? Obviously, still haven't announced a coach. It looks like an actual circus at the moment. The place is embarrassing, I guess, as a fan. It's just I don't want to walk around and talk about Parramatta. I don't want to say I'm a Parramatta fan. It's gotten to that point. Where are you at? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to say with your wisdom?
For the first time in my life, the other night, I think it might have been after the Knights game, I was laying in bed watching the post game, and I thought to myself, I'm 40 this year, and for my whole life with my brother since I've started following the Eels, I've always planned this grand final bender win we're going to do with me and my mates, and it's going to be like a week long, and I'm going to get home a week later and watch the replay. And for the first time in my life, I genuinely thought by the time we win a comp again, I'm going to be too old to be able to do that. I just think our club is in that bad of a position that it'll be at least 10 years before we're in another grand final. And by that stage, we'll have forgotten how to play grand finals again like we always do, because we are never there, so far between. I just think that's the reality of it. I think it'll take years to recover from where we are at the moment. This whole coach thing has been an absolute piss take. None of the coaches they're talking about excite me at all. Once Bennett was gone, that was it. I don't think any coach we get is going to be in a better position than Brad Arthur, unless you fix the club as well, or for somehow that I don't know, like an attribute of one of these coaches is that they're not going to take shit from the board. They're going to get to run the club how they want. I think the roster needs massive changes. I feel sorry for Moses, because if you'd have put him in several other teams in this part of his career, he's up there. He could probably win a comp at some clubs. He tries his heart out every week for us. I don't know. That's where I'm at. For the first time in my life, I genuinely thought that. And I know, like, even the Cubs won a World Series. Parramatta will get one eventually, but I now think I'll be too old to enjoy it how I've planned my whole fucking life.
I hope you're not right. I hope we can get there, but it's unfortunately one of those times. Let's talk positively about the Newcastle Knights, and Jesse touched on it. The stars are coming back, and one of those stars who I feel like in a way slipped under the radar a bit this week. There wasn't much talk about him. It's Kalen Ponga, absolute superstar. Let's go straight to Jez. I don't need to talk about it. It's his team. He must be very, very excited by it. The question I want to ask is, can he guide the Knights to finals football this year?
Just excuse me, I'm in my disco phase, so I've just got my strobe light happening because of my awesome camera.
He's back in the 80s celebrating Parramatta's premierships.
Always exciting when your star comes back. And anyone that says anything different is either looking to irk people or looking for a shit headline. Of course, it's going to improve our team. Ponga is an amazing player. Where he fits in the attacking role will be very interesting, because we have been very lackluster without him. So I think it's really been our only option to score tries is out the back to Ponga. So he will create chances every single game. And that always excites us as Newcastle fans. I'm a little bit worried that the Origin talk has already started happening around him, because I don't want him playing Origin, nor should he be eligible. But he'll always come out and say, I'm putting the club first. I also don't like these little rumors about him going to the Roosters. They can get chucked in the bin as well.
Who don't
Put
they
that
want?
in the bin.
Everyone's going to the Roosters, it seems.
They're all going to the Roosters.
They're flocking. Good on them.
Can he help us play finals footy? Well, he's definitely not going to be detriment to us playing finals footy. Like, with him in the team, we're a better team. Do I think the Knights at the moment are capable of playing finals footy? If I'm going to answer it honestly, no. I think we'll still just miss it, because I don't know. We've got so much work to do when it does come to attack. But if Ponga can be the Band-Aid to fix all those problems, then I'll happily sit on that ride again. If we go 10 in a row, whoa, look out. Let's make it 11. Is there that many rounds left?
No, I don't think
Let's all
so.
remember how the podcast was last year and the Knights run. Jez just...
Well,
he was
Adam's
the
not
happiest
here, so
man
I've
on
got
the
to mention it. He
Yeah.
always mentions it. Living in the past,
Jesse?
that bloke.
I know you're excited from a Supercoach point of view. I know you love to just somehow get Supercoach mentioned on this podcast at certain points throughout the Wednesday night show. So there's your first go. You've got
There we
10 seconds to talk Supercoach. I'll give you that. And then go into the NRL side of it. And if the Knights can actually make finals football with Kalen Ponga.
Well, you mentioned that it's flown under the radar. In the Supercoach realm, it's been at the forefront. Everyone has been retweeting Barry Tui's posts about Ponga's back next week. So obviously all the Fletcher Sharp cash cow options, they've been left in the dark because he's not a very good option anymore, and he was a 1 week trade in. So yeah, I knew Ponga was back this week about 3 weeks ago. So don't know where you've been, but for the Knights, it's huge. It's massive. Like Ponga's back. It's going to be, it's going to be really good for him. And I'm keen to see other players obviously benefit off that too. Fletcher Sharp's been good, but again, Armstrong was good before him, and no one can do what Ponga can do. So I'm stoked to see it. But as far as like the team getting into the 8, they're only 2 points off it. So, like there's every chance for them. But again, like I just don't think they do much with it. Like they get finals footy potentially. And then what? You know what I mean? Like I just can't see them making any sort of stride getting through the first round if that's the case. It's just what you've seen from them. But like they went on a mad run last year. Like what's not to say they can do it again? I'd like to see it, to be fair. Like I'd like to just see them do it. If they can pick up this late season form twice, 2 years in a row, you can almost count them pretty good for it, because like they have every opportunity to. They've got a decent run. So for Jez's sake, fingers crossed. It doesn't bother me whether they win or not, to be honest with you. But I'd like to see it for my Supercoach rankings. So there's my little Supercoach plug. Thank you.
Just before I throw to Mickey, just like the next 5 for the Knights, talking about their run. So they got the Raiders away this weekend. We got Manly away next week, which is the Origin period. So they'll be both teams will be without any Origin stars that are selected. The Broncos at home, the bye, and then the Penrith Panthers away in round 22. So that's the next 5. So, I mean, I don't know if I'd say
I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pretty
There's some
excited for
bye
that
points
Penrith
there.
game, because we had a pretty decent game against Penrith when they had all their players, and we were missing Ponga. I think we we're missing someone else as well. I think we're missing Frizzell. Or Kai Piss-Paul. It was one of our big forwards that's had a really big season. So if both teams are fit, I'm actually really pumped for that game.
Yep. Mika, can the Knights make the 8 off the back of
finals as well?
Yeah, off the back of Kalen Ponga returning and being back on that field?
Yeah, I think he's, as Jez said, he's definitely, anyone who says he's not going to make the team better has got rocks in their head. Like, he's a phenomenal player. What I've noticed about the Knights this year is how much their defense has improved. And they say defense wins comps. Now, do I think the Knights will make the 8 still? I think they're going to be very close. They're going to be closer than I thought they would be. Like Jesse said, I think if they make the 8, they're not doing much. But I mean, if you're defending like that and you're wanting to defend for each other like the Bulldogs are at the moment, like look how far the Bulldogs have gone up the table based off their defense, then I guess anything could happen. I still think there's better teams above them that are going to keep them out of the 8. Just.
Yeah.
It's probably something we'll look into the next couple of weeks, but there is a logjam happening at the moment for that probably 6th down to about 10th or 11th spot, and it's very intriguing to see what comes for the next few weeks and how that starts to shape up, because there's some teams that I think could surprise, and there's some good teams that might miss out the way it's going. The Broncos, for mine, are under serious threat for this top 8 position.
I reckon Knights win 4 of those games.
There was a graphic that someone put up on their page, and it was around Penrith at genuine title contenders, and then there was a gap that was missing there around it could have been contenders, and then the next topic was might fall short, but they had seriously no teams in there, and Penrith, no one, the rest so.
It's a bit of daylight, though, when you look at them. But again, like you look at 5th, Bulldogs, they're on 20 points. And then you go all the way down to the 12th, and they're on 18. That's wild.
Don't sleep on the Storm, though. I think people are falling asleep on the Storm.
They're my favourites for the comp. Have been all year.
For the minor, at least.
Load up on them.
Yeah.
Roosters looking good. The Roosters are looking good. Actually, I'm gonna move things around on this as we go. I'm gonna go to another point first before we get fired up. The Turbo switched to the centre, so another star that's back. Manly have decided and opted to go for him playing in the centres, which was called for as he had this injury once again. They're trying to ease his body back into first grade, I'm guessing. I have no doubt in my mind he'll play a sort of roving role at centre. He won't just stay on that edge. There's no doubt he'll play in the middle if he needs to. He'll do what he did, I think, around that Origin time when he was centre and just carving up. So I don't think he's a lock to sit there in that channel. But do we like this move by Manly? Do we think it is time to have him at centre, or is it time to move him perhaps to this centre position and just say it's yours, make it your own, and we'll let Cooler or Hopewadi do their thing at the back, younger, faster. Body seems to be holding up a lot better. Mika?
Yeah, just fucking laughing at Goosey's comments. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think they had to. They had to move in there. They've got to try and get some work out of those legs. They've not got the value for money out of him at this stage. So they've got to try something because what is he one more major injury away from him going, look, maybe you should look elsewhere? Well, that's a big, big call, but you can't keep paying that much money to sit on the sidelines for more than half a season. So I understand why they did it. It's funny that there hasn't been the hullabaloo about him going to the centres that there has about people suggesting Gutho should go to the centres for the same reason. But I think he'll roam. I'd be interested to see how he handles defending in the line all the time. I reckon centre is the hardest defensive position in the game today. You get a lot of traffic coming at you. You got to make a lot of big decisions. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. And it's going to be up to his heart. Like, I guess at fullback, you can sort of create your own a bit more, but it's going to be up to the halves to get him the space and the ball now. So be interesting to see how that changes his game.
Jesse, what do you think? It's a good move from Manly doing this, or you actually think he should, if he's playing, he should be fullback?
I think with the talent that Turbo has, I feel like he might be wasted at centre. Obviously, they're trying to do it for his longevity, and obviously he hasn't ever had a full season in the NRL. He's literally every single season he's been some sort of injury affected, hamstrings and the like. But like you can see the proactive approach from Manly about it, trying to get him to last longer and trying to get their money's worth out of it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, cool. You know, you get 27 games, potentially more than likely you're going to get 15 games out of him. But at what expense? Like at what cost? You know, like they're already playing roulette with their fullbacks already with Cooler and Hopewadi, where they have a clear option with Turbo right there. And like, okay, fair enough. Turbo's a big body. You know what I mean? He's a lot bigger than Cooler is. So size-wise, you'd say that he could be a better option in the centers than Cooler anyway. So that makes a lot of sense. But like he's obviously done it in the Origin stage to a pretty good level. Nice. 100%. So like you've seen Turbo at center a few years in a row as well. And every year when the Origin team comes around, first person you put in your centers is Turbo. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's an unnatural position for him. I'm sure he can do a good job. Like he's that caliber of player. But like just Turbo at fullback, you know what I mean? Like it's just a match made in heaven. It's like putting Ponga at 5'8". Like why would you when he's a clear fullback? I don't know if it'll last too long, to be honest. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference to him because I can't recall a moment where Turbo pulled up after a 50, 60 meter sprint down the line. You know what I mean? Like everything that he's done has been short and explosive. And like if you're going to be playing center, that's pretty much what you're doing most of the time, you'd think anyway. So obviously they've done their research and they're certain it's a better idea than him at fullback anyway. But I suppose time will tell. But yeah, I'm not super sold, to be honest. I'd love to see how it goes for him.
Well, Jez, your team is in fact versing Manly coming up, as we just discussed. Are you more worried with Turbo in the team lining up at centre, or less concerned? Because Best or Gagai for mine can do a job on him.
I was about to say, when you're talking about our two centres that are currently in some form, lining up against a half Turbo, I'm licking my lips at that. But then you watch him prove us all wrong and have a stellar game at centre because he does it for New South Wales when he's playing there. Like he can do it. I'm in the same boat as Jesse. Just Turbo is a fullback. I think for the value of the game, for bums on seats, Turbo needs to be playing fullback. I understand if they're trying to do it for longevity in terms of the short efforts that you will have to do out of centre, but there's so much more defence running your way. You're defending in the line, as Mika said, and then your meters out of your own end are desperate meters out of your own end. So I don't know. It is a bit of a head scratcher. I literally just had to scratch my head, and that was funny. But I love seeing Turbo back in the game.
Yeah,
I would rather see him at fullback.
I'm the same. I love to see the fact he's back. I love to see our superstars playing. I think the game has been impacted somewhat this year with so many superstars out for long periods of time. It hasn't been enjoyable to watch, in my opinion, but it has been good seeing some of these youngsters step up. And one of those is Lehigh Hopewadi, who I think has been a bit hard done by. I'm surprised they've opted to put Cooler back at fullback to make this switch happen. I thought they would have left Hopewadi at fullback. He's done nothing wrong whatsoever for mine. Leave him there, and if anything, probably plays better with this superstar back in the team to help him out. For mine, it was easy just to put Garrick back to the wing and have Turbo go into that centre position. So just a bit unsure what Seabold has done there, but I love that Turbo's back.
What side is Turbo going to be playing on? Like, is he going to be on... Because if he's playing on Cherry Evans' side, then you might actually see Turbo get used effectively in attack. If he's on Brooks's side, I'm not too sure that he's going to get the ball that he needs. What are we laughing at here?
Turbo is good down the left, though.
Brooks.
You know what I mean? Like
DCE greater than.
Garrick's been on the right all season, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much of a shuffle. If you're gonna start changing the way things look, you've moved Cooler to fullback when you could have been playing him at fullback for the last month instead of putting Hopewadi there and then shuffling the side around. They haven't opted to drop either of the wingers, which is, I suppose, a fair point because neither of them have been bad. But then you're going to go and put Turbo at probably, if you're going to put him next to Cherry Evans, then it's a heavily unbalanced side with Olakau'atu, Turbo, Cherry Evans. You know what I mean? And then to go to the other side and have Brooks, Garrick, and Talau, I don't know. I feel like just for the stability of the side, you have to have him at the left because the right's been playing that same way all year. It's just too much of a change.
And then he's matched up against, say, this weekend, a supercharged Dane Gagai who's out to prove a point. So that'll be fun.
Tough gig. Looking forward to that. Look, it's time to fire up, boys and girls. Get your comments in here because this topic could go anywhere. I don't know where it can go. So we're going to talk about the Titans and the Roosters today.
12 inches. Oh.
Yeah. The Roosters and the Titans have both been able to sign rugby converts today, post June 30. Had both signed them for next year. Now things have happened. Rugby season's over. I don't think they've been selected for the international duties. I think Mark Nwanga Wingatasi has been chosen to do the rugby sevens for the Olympics, and then we'll go over to rugby. But for the Titans, he's already there training today. So it's happened. I have heard many sources say that clubs are not happy about this. It's past June 30. Rules are there for a reason. Why are we making exceptions? The Raiders boss, Don Ferner, came out and said, well, if this is the way we're going to play it, we're going to just start signing Brumbies players as soon as the rugby season's over for 3 months and just have them play on the books for a lot less of a contract because obviously most of the year's already done and just see how they go. Mika, where are you at with
before you throw
one?
to Michael, there was a Warriors representative that also said, all right, well, we'll just send them to rugby for a week and then re-sign them.
Oh, well, that's
the Warriors have come out and said something as well.
Okay, I didn't see that. Well, thanks for that bit of information. This also opens up a can of worms for next year because don't forget, Jay Manu is off to Japanese rugby. Their season finishes around about, I think it's about 2 weeks away or something. So fresh timing for the NRL final series. And you can't tell me anyone will be happy if the Roosters get to sign him again next year at this time of year, if not a little bit later, and it gets passed. Everyone will be up in arms. And I'll replay this video and show everyone next year because everyone apart from Jesse will be furious. Mika, where are you at with this one?
I couldn't care less. It's 3 days after June 30th. Like, fuck. Like, There's so much more wrong with our salary cap and shit like that than worrying about 3 days after a deadline with legal contracts and shit that always take longer. Like, I don't think we should be angry at the club. If you want to be angry at someone, look, they had to, and I actually only thought it was the Roosters. Now you're telling me the Titans did it too. The NRL let them. They had to apply to the NRL to let them do it. The NRL probably went, oh, yeah, it's 3 days. No one gives a fuck. Like, come on. It just seems petty to me. And you're talking about, oh, we'll just sign half the Brumbies. With what money? What have they only got 15 people in their salary cap to start with in the first place? Well, let's be realistic. I don't think it matters anywhere near as much as people are making it out to be. I don't think you could bend it to make it more to your advantage as people are making it out to be. Like, fucking hell. Clubs sign players for 10 weeks after their team can't make the 8. Like, that happens. Like, we do dumb shit all the time. I just, like, for 3 days, why does it have to be June 30? Why isn't the deadline July 30? Like, what? I don't get why people are so worked up about it. Does my head.
Technically, it's only 2 days because if June 30 falls on a weekend, which it did this Sunday, it was my 33rd birthday, then it's the following working days when the days actually start. I've read up on this.
Was it announced this morning? So they were probably signed yesterday? Like,
This afternoon.
Fuck. Like, come on, boys.
It's been in the works.
Yeah.
I don't
Rules
know.
are rules, though. This is a can of worms. It opens a huge can of worms.
Tell me
it
how.
runs red light, so it
How
doesn't
long
matter
is
to
too
you.
long, though? Like, where do
Tell
you
me
start saying it's okay? Maybe that's too long. It's been a week now, surely. Like,
So-
when does 3 days turn into 5 days? Is 5 days too much?
Tell me how it can open a can of worms. Give me your worst example, and I'll like that'll
All right.
never happen.
Let me
You
tell
have
you
to
this.
have
for instance.
28 players signed, so there's only 2 spots left coming into the June 30 deadline. You have to have 28 of your top 30 already signed and locked in.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is
you
part
have
of
to
the
have it
premise.
locked in. Then you have
So,
to have it locked
To
by
add to
June
Michael's
30.
argument of, well, if they only got 15 players signed, well, no, they have 28 locked in. So they've got 2 spots leading into June 30.
I remember there was a
Um,
story back in 2015. It's not NRL related. It's like Premier League football related. But I don't know if you remember, David De Gea was meant to sign with Madrid, and they had a fax machine issue on deadline day in the 11th hour, and it literally stopped his transfer. It would have been one of the biggest transfers that's ever happened for the clubs back then in 2015, regardless. But literally because of a fax machine error, this, I don't know, potentially 50+ million euro transfer did not happen. And we're talking about just like, oh, just let it slide 3 days later in a completely kangaroo league in comparison. It's like, I suppose, you have to kind of at least uphold a level of a standard at the very least. There's a deadline for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I suppose you can't have a lot of discretion when it's like, get it done now or don't do it at all. Do it next year when everyone else is.
I just think there's so many bigger issues with our salary cap that don't get spoken about. Like I remember when Parramatta got done for being over the cap, right? They showed how many teams were over TPAs and over the cap and how many teams had been like bent and whatever. Like, teams are over the cap every year. They just get little fines and stuff and like, oh, they're only a little bit. Like, if we're going to go hard and fast about rules, they're the sort of rules we should be hard and fast about, not 2 days over a fucking deadline that is completely irrelevant. Like,
the thing is, though, it isn't. It's irrelevant. Give me
an example. Give me an example of how it's going to like open a can of worms, like you said.
I just gave you the example at the start of this. Joey Manu next year comes out of contract, and there is a huge belief in the game at the moment that the Roosters have been very smart with what they've done with him, because the contract will end. And look, hang on, just before finals time, you're out of contract. Come on back to the game.
But what just before finals? Do you think the NRL will let the Roosters sign him in, say, August?
Yes.
Yes,
like
100%. It's the Roosters.
Yeah,
they did it with Hill.
And on that, they've got to have room under the cap to do it, because the NRL now force you to pay players what they're worth. They have ever since Parramatta couldn't sign Israel Folau for what they deemed him less than worth. So what? How the Roosters are going to keep a fucking $1 million out of their cap all year for him? Come on. It's not going to happen.
For Joey Manu, though, I'm sure any club would. If they knew that they were going to be given the opportunity to sign him before finals, 100% you leave money in the cap.
$1 million, because that's what he'll be worth, and that's what the
Well,
NRL will make him pay.
considering they're not going to have him, you know what I mean? They're not going to have him on their cap for the next season. It's like, okay, then just use the Joey Manu money you don't have right now to just get him back when it's relevant. If they are allowed to, you know what I mean? Like, surely they just got Townsend. Like, they're making space. Crichton will sign soon. Kiri's gone. You know, they're gonna have the money, and plus they've got all that extra money for whatever reason, which is unspoken. But we haven't got Fafita coming, so like there's less money to worry about.
Yeah, he
There's-
won't.
there's
A couple
he
of
won't be
these
paying for
recent
the rest of
signings
next
are
year.
only for 1 year, so it might be adding up.
He
There's a
won't
big
be
name
there.
coming. There's a big
He
name
won't be
coming.
there between June and September next year. It won't happen.
There's your clip.
Well,
50 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yep, lock it in.
There's the lock in. I'm all like, look, I know what you're saying, Mika, but for mine, the rules are the rules. I understand why clubs are pretty furious about this, and they feel like it's pretty much one-sided when it comes to this stuff. Whenever there's a rule and it needs to be broken as such, it seems to always revolve around the Roosters. And this time,
And the
the Gold
Titans.
Coast have been luckily, the Gold Coast are luckily
It's like
able to
forward
just
passes. They don't exist.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That the game has
That's a
moved
rule.
on from the old days. We can't keep thinking everyone sticks to the rules these days because they just don't. The clubs don't operate with the rules anymore. They've got sponsors who are allowed to go out and talk to players who are out of contract, things like that, and it happens. It definitely happens. And the other reason why clubs are going, this is a little bit unfair. Look at the Roosters at the moment. They've got some backline injuries. They're in a bit of a hole when it comes to that. They got Michael Jennings, a 36-year-old now, 37-year-old back this week. Mark Wingatasi, however you want to say it, that's going to be painful next year. Trying to say that name every week. We're gonna have to come up with the nickname old Marky Boy, Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
He now gets to technically, as soon as the Olympics are finished, he signs, he's fit, he's ready to go. They've got a Wallaby star now on their books ready to go for finals. I don't think it's fair this year that it's past June 30. If they're not going to promote a kid, which other teams would have to do in that situation, that's what, like, look at the Knights, for instance. They've got, let's say if Ponga goes down again, they're going to have to replace him with, say, Fletcher Sharp. Like, they go to their youngster and say, your time's now. Step up. The Roosters, hey, Wallabies star. In you come. Off you go. They were both signed for next year. So I don't get why there's this rush to get him in now. It doesn't make sense.
So let other teams go and do it. What's stopping other teams doing it? They're just not good enough or smart enough to be able to fucking do it. We all talk about the Roosters and the Sombrero. They manage it well. Good on them.
Yeah.
I wish my club could do the same fucking thing.
I was about to say, I think
think
it comes
better.
down to management,
100%.
club management, and the people behind on the boards that are actually good at what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They won't
they're
do it
good.
business. They
Stopping
do it
them.
after
Good at
June 30.
business.
Yeah. Like, and also too, the NRL are never, ever, ever going to stand in the way of poaching players from another code when we get players poached. Like you talk about Folau and Sonny Bill and all those others that have been and come back. Like, they want the fucking news. They want the highlights. They want the, look, like, they're never going to say no. They're not. It's just part of it. Like,
We lose
fucking
Suwali.
hell,
It's
if-
just like, let's take someone else. Take someone
Yeah.
back.
It's good business.
It's fine. Yeah, 100%. Publicity. We'll do it. But, like, I suppose if these players wanted to go to these other clubs, like, I don't blame them for wanting to go to the Roosters. The Titans may be a little different story, but as if you wouldn't want to. Like, if someone,
Weather's nice up there.
if the Panthers put their hand up to take someone, I'm sure somebody would jump, almost near guaranteeing themselves a premiership. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't see it. It's not there. It's just not happening. But nothing's stopping it from happening. I just don't hear about it. So,
What even is a wallaby anyway?
I thought they
What is
retired
rugby?
a few years ago. They became
It's on that thing
extinct.
that's on Stan Sport, isn't it? That random thing?
Wallaby.
Jez, what are your
And
thoughts on this?
George Gregan.
Yeah. John Alomu on PlayStation 1. That's the only rugby I ever got involved in.
Yep. Now we're talking.
Was it
What are your
PlayStation 2?
thoughts on this one, Jez?
Well, I think I just said it. It's just good business. Like I think we're getting mad at the wrong people. I think We're annoyed because it's not our clubs doing it, not bending the rules. Yes, George Gregan, so good. But yeah, look, I've got bigger things that I gripe about. Not so much signing after a June 30 deadline. And good luck to these guys. If they play any games, we'll see what happens. Infuriating, yes, but end of the world, no.
Andrew, I don't know what you mean here.
It's
Can
a
I
fair,
ask you
what?
if
Fair question.
that was to come to our club from next week, would you complain that we only signed him next year? Yes, because it's past June 30.
No, you
So we
fucking
could have
wouldn't.
signed him outside of
No,
it. So
you would
No,
not.
You would not.
You
would
would have
not.
it. You would
If the
dedicate a
Dragons
special
were
pod
out of the
to it.
race and going
no,
shit,
I was after June 30.
yeah.
I
If
would.
the Dragons
I
are
swear on
going
my
shit,
life, I swear on my life, I would be saying I don't like it. It sets a bad precedent in my opinion. I'd be
I
obviously
don't know.
wrapped because they've got a gun
Bullshit.
player, but I wouldn't approve it. I don't think that's the way the game should be played. Because if you look at it deep down, it does. If you extend June 30 out any longer than what it already is, it actually benefits the clubs in the finals race a lot more than it does the clubs that aren't. It's actually a huge
they-
unfair advantage if we want to go down that path. Because you can
Were they
build your club
signed
up.
prior, or was it just announced after? Were they already signed?
it would have
That's
100% been in the
today.
works.
Have
Like
to be,
that-
surely. You
So
can't
you're
just
been
saying they
in
only
the
one
got
in a
pen
day.
to paper today, and it got announced today as well. For all we know, they could have signed June 30. They could have signed June 29, and they've released it today.
They've definitely been in plans before June
Oh.
30. Come on.
That's new.
I don't know. I think people have got their knickers in a knot for no reason here. Like, if they're good at business, they would have already had pen to paper, and they've just waited to announce it or leak it to the press.
Or the
I take-
email got lost, or the fucking printer didn't work, or
That's exactly
Yeah, the
right.
fax machine.
everything gets signed with that DocuSign now. Like I just did some house stuff earlier this year, and
You know why I
legal
know
shit
that
takes
that's not the
time.
case?
So
Because they had
legitimate.
to seek NRL approval for this. That's why I know it didn't happen when before June 30. So they had to seek
So-
NRL approval to do
Oh,
this.
unless
Maybe
you sign it and then ask for approval after it's done. It's like the whole,
Maybe-
you know.
Late last week, they're like, "Fuck, we're not going to get this wrapped up in time. We better ask NRL if it goes a couple of days over, it's going to be all right because it's only 2 days, so no one cares." And NRL
Still
went,
needed to
Gold
seek
cares.
approval. Still late.
go.
Still past
go.
June 30.
They're still
past
forward.
June 30.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Hey, your birthday's June 30 and people celebrate it July the 3rd. You're going to be pissed off.
Haven't you
Okay.
ever
I'm still
sent
waiting
someone
for
a-
a couple of messages.
Fair point.
I'm still waiting for
Haven't-
messages from friends.
haven't you
Happens
ever
every
had a-
year.
Yeah, belated birthday. Come on, Joel.
Yeah, Nick
I'll
Morrow,
put my-
I'm talking to you. Send me a message,
Now, you
you
know
dog.
what? You know what, Mika? You know what? Your holiday's tomorrow, but just because you don't actually board the flight for another 3 days.
I've
it's
got
only
you here.
it's only 3 days. It's all good. Like
My
it won't matter
holidays-
to you.
My holidays actually started a couple of days ago, officially, but then I had to go into work yesterday. Did I care about it? No, shit happens.
If you put your
Was that
annual
just
leave
a
in
bit
for
late?
June 30, but then don't start your holiday until the 3rd.
That's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much what happened. That's exactly what fucking happened.
And are you outraged about it?
No,
Oh fucking
my
me,
last
that's
shift. My
dumb.
last
That's
shift was
rude.
meant to be Sunday night. I had to work yesterday. There you go, Joel. Wow, maybe it's my
Take that
fault.
one.
But you
But
know,
that
you weren't
was
supposed to be in
silence
Fiji. I'm talking about Fiji. I'm talking about the Fiji holiday.
What?
That's it.
Now
You
we
know
start
what?
talking about time zones. Maybe he did actually go on
Yeah.
holiday in the 3rd, but because of the time zones, it was meant to be June 30.
Oh,
We haven't
We're
thought
going
about
around in
this.
circles now.
They need to fix this fax machine.
You've been
Look
outvoted
at-
3-1, Joel.
There you
People
go,
don't
Joel.
care that much.
yeah. Look,
Time to
it's
move
hard
on.
having
Sorry,
the
Joe,
brains.
you-
I'm telling you right now.
You've got the
Oh.
wrong people in this live. Go kick off in the chat. They've got your back.
Hey, it's
Where's
not
Adam
having
when
the
you
best.
need him,
It's
eh?
about having just obeying the rules, mate. Obeying the rules.
Rules are made to be
Put
broken.
your seatbelt
on.
It's that time of the show. You get your questions in. There has been a couple of start already from earlier in the show, so we'll get to those shortly. Before we do that, just so you guys have a chance to get some of the questions in. Is there a game that sticks out to you, boys, this week? We'll go around and just quickly talk a little bit about the footy, I guess, this weekend. Let's go, Jez. Have you got a game that sticks out to you this weekend?
Just currently
Waiting for it
looking
to
at
load
the
up.
draw. Knights Raiders is always fun, especially after what happened in finals. So it'd be nice if we beat them. But it's Sunday 4 or 5, so it's the last one. I'm gonna go the Saturday game, Tigers Storm, because I've got a feeling that the Storm are gonna hit 70. There's my bold prediction. They're gonna hit 70 points against the Tigers.
Holy shit.
Captain
It's at
Jerome Hughes.
Leichhardt. Tigers are a different beast at Leichhardt. Keeper's going to be muddy.
Yeah, but their coach doesn't get to training before 6 o'clock, so they're fucked.
True. And he doesn't get to sign players after June 30 either, so he's at an unfair advantage. But anyway, Jesse, is there a game that sticks out to you for this week?
There's two actually.
Mate, I asked
obviously-
for one. Don't disobey the rules.
Okay, forget the first one because it's boring and it's predictable. I like the Roosters Dragons game.
Paris House.
Bit biased. Hey, Paris House. Oh, fucking hell, what a lackluster watch that'll be. Nah, look, I'm always fond of a Roosters Dragons game. A bit of an Anzac clash. One of my best mates is a Mad Dragon supporter, and we always tend to put up some money for it, and I always tend to win. So it's a good one for that. But yeah, no, I'm definitely keen. I suppose I'm always keen for a Roosters game regardless. But yeah, home one. Smoke the Drags. The Dargans.
The Darkins. Mika, got a game for us?
I can't pick one. There's a couple there that I think could be tasty. I reckon Sharks Titans might be a good game because I don't know why Sharks are 92% favourites. The Titans got some injuries. Haven't they been playing okay lately?
Titans got some players
massive-
back. They got Brimson
Yeah, that
back.
seems some massive favourites for how the Sharks have been going. But yeah,
And it's
I
like
reckon that
Cops.
one
It's
could be
not even
pretty-
a proper home game for him. So
Yeah, true.
yeah, I reckon that could
Cheeky
be
multi.
quite a good game.
Titans.
Should be a lot of attack at least, anyway.
yeah. I've got the Broncos versus the Penrith Panthers, the grand final rematch. Geez, it seems a long time ago. It's about, what is it now? About 9 months since that game, and the Broncos have gone backwards.
9 months and 3 days.
That 3 days is crucial. We'll get the lawyer on the show and talk about that. But anyway, I just want to see what the Broncos have, because if there's a game that should bring the best out of it, it should be this one against the team that pipped them on the post of almost an unlosable grand final at one point for the Broncos. So if they are to do anything in this competition, they need to win this game. There's no doubting that. There's no sugarcoating it. I'm keen to see them on Friday night to see what they can actually do, and if they can achieve that against the Penrith Panthers team that are back to pretty much full strength without Cleary, and he's reportedly back within literally the next week or two. So they will be ready to rip and tear this back half of the year. A couple of the questions,
Joel, because the Broncos are slipping and slipping fast. So they need to have a win. They need it.
Penrith ain't going to lose 2 in a row. That never happens.
No. And I don't think it's a matchup that the Broncos really can win, to be fair. Well, they need one, but it's the last team you want to come up against when you're struggling as hard as they are. Like, it's a full strength Penrith side too, obviously full strength Broncos, but I'd be much more worried about a full strength Penrith. So
I agree.
Little shout out to
yeah.
Warriors Bulldogs as well. I think that game might produce some quality footy.
Cowboys and Manly got no love out of everyone. We pretty much highlighted every other matchup except them. So.
I'm surprised that Cowboys are favourites in that too, to be honest. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, here come all the Cowboys comments.
Yeah.
I don't know what Leith is. If Leith has some information we don't, who does Madge sign first for the Eels? Madge is out of the race, brother. He's not going to be the coach from what we've been told. So I don't know who he's going to sign first for the Eels, but if there's something that miraculously happens and we do sign him, which I wouldn't mind from all the candidates at the moment.
Can't sign anyone now. He's got to wait till next year.
Yeah, it's too many days. But if there was, it would
past
be
the deadline.
Mitch Barnett.
Well, he literally does. So that makes no sense. That's just taken way out of context. That does not make sense.
Knocked
bro.
that out of the park, didn't I?
Oh, mate, that was horrible. That was horrendous. Dad's probably
Well-
gone to sleep by now. He's probably not even watching. But do you boys think the bunker has improved the game in any way? I, for one, can't wait to see the end of it, as the game is a mess, in my opinion. So many mistakes from officials. I feel like the bunker is something we definitely need these days. Like, modern day sport has video technology. It's just about how you use it, how often and how frequent you use it. Probably less is more, in my opinion, but they pay that much money for it. You got to use it. You got to get it done. I just think who's in the bunker needs to change, because it's basically just the referees. And if they have like a night off, they go up and do the bunker. I don't think that's right. We're questioning them doing decisions on the field. I don't know why, but they're getting promoted up to do a more important role as such with the bunker. But I think it needs to be a set person or two that does the bunker each week. I know that sounds like a very hard job, but 3 or 4 weeks of watching, 3 or 4 days, in a row of watching some footy, I'm sure you can get a team around you to do that. It's hard work, but that's your full-time job. You watch some footy matches, you make some hard calls, and I don't think that's too hard to ask. I don't know. What do you boys think? Do you reckon the bunker blow it up or continue it?
No, don't blow it up. Use it properly. So the bunker's invented to get rid of the howler, which I think it has done. It's overused and it takes up too much time. I'm a big advocate for it not being overused. I think the people that are in the bunker make the difference, and I agree. It's got to be a special team. It's got to be a specialized team, a bunker team. I don't want it to be on-field referees. I don't want them to have any sort of influence on their decisions. I'm a big fan of getting ex-referees in there, so like a Henry Perenara or, whoever else has retired, and make them have three to four bunker referees, and they rotate. They do each day of the round, and that's their job. Get rid of the on-field referees in the bunker, because I think that's where all of these farcical decisions and intervening is coming from, because they're just trying to look after their mate that's currently reffing that game. Going back to that Parramatta Knights game, it took 3.5 minutes for him to draw a rectangle as Michael was shouting. He lost his voice. He was shouting that much, how to draw a rectangle. I would love to have heard the conversation that was going on in his ear, because he did not move his hand from his head that whole time. So obviously someone's gobbing off in his ear when we could clearly see something needed to be checked within that try. Shouldn't have taken 3.5 minutes for him to go, oh, let's send it upstairs.
He was laughing about it too. He thought it was
I'd
hilarious.
love to hear what was being said. You know how the Premier League release VAR decisions and they go through and you hear all the audio? I would love to hear the audio from that little passage to see what actually happens during a game, because I'm sure they would want to pull out that earpiece by the end of it.
Can I just quickly say a gripe before I go to the other boys as well with this? The whole process of it is we're waiting there at the ground, and we all went through it on the weekend, as Jez just alluded to. They're clearly up there watching it on repeat, watching the moments. They come up with their decision. We then go to the bunker, and then we go through this whole process one more time. Like, can't they just quickly go, this is the replay, this is why we're giving it a try or no try, and lock it in? We seem to go to the bunker and then sit there again for another 2 or 3 minutes as he goes through the replays once again. Like, you've already clearly seen that there's a reason why you're saying no try or try. Just tell us and off you go. Why do we need to sit through it again? It's
Do you
painful.
get rid of the soft signal as well?
Like the referees one?
Like sending it up as a try or sending it up as no try. Do you get rid of that?
Absolutely. It defeats the whole purpose. The ref shouldn't give an opinion because he clearly doesn't fucking know, because that's why he's getting it checked. And then half the time, well, I won't say half the time, but then they're going off his opinion, which he's already admitted that he can't see.
We're supporting the on-field decision of.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which makes the bunker irrelevant.
That's the point.
Yeah. I still think I don't even agree with 3 or 4 people doing it over a weekend. I think until you get it the same person every game, you still won't get consistency out of it. I'm a fan of the bunker. I like the bunker. I think people forget how bad things were or how bad they could be now without a bunker, given the modern technology and the amount we scrutinise a game afterwards. Can you imagine, after 40 years of my life, Parramatta get to a grand final and they lose in the last 30 seconds of a game for a try? And people forget the reason the bunker was brought in to review every try. It's because a Souths player scored a try and his foot was a metre over the line. And then it showed on the replay afterwards, and the ref went, I can't change it now. So they decided to review every try. Can you imagine me, or anyone, any team, you get to that grand final, you lose, and then the replay shows it was a clear no try, like 100% no try, and the ref's like, sorry, mate, can't fix it. Like, that's fucking crazy in the modern world, right? NFL get it right, and they use 60-year-old targets. They just recoat the paint on them every year in 2 sticks, and they can get things down to an inch. So I like the bunker. We can't turn our back on technology. There's just got to be a few things to balance it out a bit more, because at the end of the day, the aim of the game is to get things right. Captain's challenges are 70% successful. They've got to stay as well. Like, the aim should be to get things right.
Jesse, you can finish with the ref point, but just, guys, we want to finish up. Just give us one question, non-footy related. We like to finish with those ones. I'm waiting for a non-footy related question. So bring one in for us to answer. Jesse, while someone does that for us, anything to say with the ref stuff?
Honestly, not much more than Mick has already said, to be fair. I think he kind of said it perfectly. He is. He's firing. Like, you can't go back. You can't go backwards from it now. Like, you need the bunker. There would be way more howlers if we didn't have a sort of video intervention. You know what I mean? Like, there's too many instances already when you can go back and watch the game and be like, holy shit, imagine if they had VAR, what could have been. So, yeah, you can't go back against it. I think they should probably have the audio out there for people to listen to if they are going to be doing that sort of stuff. Just so you can kind of see the decisions. I feel like you should just bloody get James Graham in there or Josh Reynolds or something and just be like, cool, they're our bunker. You know what I mean? Let them do
What
the
a
job.
good idea, Jeremy. Oh, thanks, Jesse.
That's it. Well done. But like, it is what it is. It's fantastic. The bunker is great. Wink, wink.
Oh,
I think you just got to live with it. You talk about all the
sorry,
time.
sorry, Jesse, but Jesse's just talking in third person. I love it. Now we've got 2 questions, so we'll end on these ones. First of all, Adam, so the Martin brothers are going off to Fiji tomorrow. They're away, so everyone can sing hallelujah. We'll have Martin free time for a little bit. We can go and relax.
40 on the
Over
first day,
or
maybe.
under 40 beers at Fiji. I think he'll do 40 beers in the first day. I think that's definitely overs.
Guaranteed first day.
What?
I
Over.
had 10 before I even fucking leaned over there. What are you talking about?
Oh,
That's
that's an
soft.
Next
easy
question.
one. Oh, hang on. Actually,
Easy.
he wants to go 60. Okay, that'll be
Oh,
2
over.
days. How
Over.
long are you in Fiji for?
A week.
Oh,
Over.
overs or unders should be 100.
100 plus.
Oh, God.
100.5.
This one from Jeremy Johns. Must be a relation to the great Andrew and Matthew Johns. Heard he's a great player as well in his heyday. He was
Good
just
looking
one
dude.
of those what could have been. Packet of chips flavor or best shapes flavor. I think we go one of each. I think we do a shapes flavor and we do a favorite packet of chips.
Heck yeah.
Jesse, you're nodding. I reckon you've already got yours lined up. So
I know.
take us away.
100%. They're a staple in my pantry, mate. Red Rock Deli, sweet chili chips.
Ooh.
And for shapes, I'm going to go, it's a toss-up between chicken crimpies and nachos. But I'm going to roll with chicken crimpies. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I'm a crimpies and a sweet chili boy.
I like it. Mika, what do you got?
How old are you? Like 10? Chicken crimpies?
Mate, they're legit. They're
Grow
elite
up.
here. Oh, what are your pizza shapes?
You know it.
I don't really eat shapes that much. Probably
I love a
pizza.
pizza shape. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite chip by far is the sea salt and balsamic vinegar.
Ooh.
That is a good one.
Not if you have cracked lips, though. Ooh, stingy.
Oh,
Yeah, it adds to the excitement.
I like the pain.
Yeah. Eat through the pain. That's what I was always
it.
told. Pizza shapes are goat tier. Nothing comes close because at the end of the box of shapes, you get the red dust, which is just... I'd just buy a packet of red dust. And if you say
Take the prize.
barbecue, go jump off a cliff.
They're horrid.
well, my favorite shapes flavor is in fact not barbecue.
Cliff. Oh.
It's actually one that doesn't exist anymore, and it does make the old nacho cheese was
They do
just
exist.
yeah, but they've changed it. They do
Yeah.
exist, but they've changed the way
All
it
the
is. The
flavors
old
have
one,
changed, yes.
honestly,
you know what's
I'd do
horrible?
a packet every time.
Those savory ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
You know who I
Put
think's
them in the
underrated?
bin. I thought
Cheese
they
and
were going to be
bacon.
good, and they were
Cheese
plain.
and bacon are underrated. That's
Yeah,
a
they're
good
in my
flavour.
pantry at the moment.
Yeah.
Light
yeah.
and tangy, goosey.
Yeah, I
Come
do
on,
love
mate.
a light and tangy
Grow
as
up.
well. Can't lie. Smith's light and tangy are pretty good.
Yeah, I
Take
don't
it
mind. Don't mind. I'll go with the sweet chili and sour cream as well. I think I'll lock that in. Boys and girls, you've all come in hard with some last minute questions, but we've got to go. Mika's got to finish packing his bag. He's got to get some sleep. He's got to get a straw Peter happening and record it and let us put it up. Enjoy Fiji.
Just for shame.
Come back with that tan looking sharp. The League of
miss
Inches
your
shirt
flight
should
home.
be there for you by the time you get back. Jesse, Jez, thank you once again. We'll try and hold the fort while these Martin brothers are away. It might be hard to do. There is a report.
gonna
Are you
phone
actually
in
trying
from
to
the
come
bar.
up next week from Fiji?
He reckons he wants to do it. But I don't know how that's going to fucking work.
Wonder what time will be.
It will be 10:30
no
over
way.
there.
There's no way you'll be doing it. There's no way. I'll call it now.
Can we answer Paul's
days.
question just real quick? He's a subscriber.
Yeah. Where
He
is
said favorite
here
all-time
we go.
video game. Come on, real quick.
Oh.
Skyrim.
Oh,
Jonah
Skyrim.
Lomu Rugby. It's a
That's its
huge
second
Gary
mention for
Owen.
the evening.
that was a fucking good game. It's a huge game. Yeah. Fuck. There's too many. The Tony Hawk's were good. GTA 5's good. If I'm looking at
Lights
old
out.
games, Metal Gear
ready,
Solid. I'm really excited about the
Ooh.
Metal Gear Solid remake that they're going to release this year. Metal Gear Solid 3. That'll be fucking sick.
Yeah. Good game.
Fallout 3 and Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
good.
TO ship was good.
The
I'm playing
pirate one
Fallout
was
again.
good.
I'm enjoying it.
Bit too far when it went to Black Flag.
Black Flag. Yeah.
But then when we're going retro, obviously it's Mario Kart 64 and Yoshi. If you don't
Ooh.
choose Yoshi, you're dreaming.
What about
The old
Crash?
Super Nintendo was wonders. That was I loved just playing that as a kid. Oh.
Yeah.
Double Dragon. What
Throwback.
shit?
Anyway, we could talk about this. This could be a whole new podcast. We've
GoldenEye.
got to go.
Oh,
Doom.
Wolfenstein. Doom.
Fucking Doom. Yeah. I love me
Duke
some
Nukem
Doom.
64. Come get
Oh.
some.
Who knew- Even the two new
Who
Dooms
wants
were
some?
fantastic. There's another Doom coming out next year. I'm keen for that.
These aliens discovered in the papers been
sound-
shooting up my ride.
The soundtrack in the Doom games is great too.
Yeah.
Duke
Mm.
They do a
Nukem
good
Time
job
to
with them.
Kill. Oh, Duke,
Mm.
that's got me.
And it's all like
I'm
all
gonna-
heavy metal music. Like it's
Yeah.
so good.
Ruthless, say.
Oh,
love it.
Yeah, I'm
bring
going to
back
fuck
Duke.
me up some demons.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do a post about that one.
Damn.
Thanks, guys. We're gonna go. We've got another potty to record, so I wouldn't mind getting to bed at some point tonight, unlike last
Yeah.
night. So thank
go
you
do
for
that.
listening. We appreciate it. We will catch you next week. Don't forget about the giveaway either. Thanks to Advisory, by the way. Go look at the page. It's at the top of each Instagram and the Facebook page. If you only got about a week or so, or a week and a bit to get your entries in. So get in for 2 tickets to the Combank Captain's Lounge. You go off Field Club, see the players walk out. You can, I don't know, don't berate the players. We know how that ends, but less said about it, the better. But enjoy it. It's free drinking stuff. It's a great night. Thanks, guys and girls. See you next week.
There he is.